Did you know that the most magnetic people in the room are often the quietest? In a world that celebrates bold statements and flashy displays, there's a surprising truth many overlook. True connection and respect aren't always earned through words. If you want to truly captivate others, not just in fleeting moments but in a way that leaves a lasting impression, you need to shift your focus. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do. This is the power of silent attraction, letting your actions speak louder than your words, creating an irresistible presence that draws people in without demanding their attention. Today, we're diving deep into what makes this approach so powerful, how it aligns with authenticity, and why it's the key to building meaningful relationships that truly matter. Number 1. The power of mystery, inviting deeper connections. Have you ever felt the magnetic pull of someone you couldn't quite figure out? It's not about being secretive or aloof, but about an unspoken depth that draws people in. Mystery is not deception. It's the art of revealing yourself layer by layer, like an intricate novel that holds your attention, chapter after chapter. Picture the difference between a book that gives away its entire plot in the first few pages versus one that compels you to keep turning, eager to discover its secrets. Which one would you rather read? In life, and especially in our interactions, the same principle applies. Think back to your childhood, the days of exploring friendships on the playground. Remember how you'd bond over shared interests but still held back your deepest thoughts, allowing those friendships to grow naturally over time. There was no need to rush, no urgency to tell your whole story in a single moment. Those layers of discovery were what made those bonds meaningful. Now fast forward to the present. We live in an age of oversharing, where social media makes it so easy to broadcast every detail of our lives. But this accessibility has taken something from us, the allure of curiosity. When we lay all our cards on the table, we rob others of the joy of discovering who we are. It's not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about embracing your own complexity and understanding that not everything needs to be shared all at once. Think of your favorite conversations, those moments where you felt truly connected to someone. What made them special? Often it's the pauses, the silences, the space for curiosity to bloom. Mystery invites others to lean in, to seek more. It's not about withholding, it's about cherishing. The stories we choose to share, the dreams we keep close, and the memories we allow to unfold naturally, all of this creates a dance of connection that transforms ordinary relationships into extraordinary ones. Number 2. Cultural wisdom, building bridges across humanity. Imagine walking into a room filled with voices from every corner of the world, each one carrying a story, a perspective, a piece of humanity's rich tapestry. It's not just the accents or languages that intrigue you, it's the emotions behind them. What does joy look like in another culture? What does sorrow feel like in a land you've never visited? These questions spark a journey, a lifelong quest to understand not just the world, but yourself within it. Think about the last time you connected with someone from a different background. Perhaps it was a neighbor, a colleague, or even a stranger during your travels. Did you notice how their experiences broadened your perspective? That's the beauty of cultural wisdom. It bridges the gaps between us and them, reminding us of our shared humanity. There's something nostalgic about learning from others. Maybe it reminds you of sitting with your grandparents, listening to stories about a time you never lived through, yet feeling a deep sense of connection. Those stories didn't just entertain you, they shaped you. Now, imagine expanding that feeling across cultures, allowing the world's collective wisdom to flow through you. But curiosity is the key. It's not about memorizing facts or adding stamps to your passport. It's about asking questions that matter. How does someone celebrate love in a different culture? What's their comfort food on a bad day? And why do their traditions endure even as the world changes? These questions invite us to step outside our comfort zones and engage with life in a way that's raw, authentic, and deeply human. In these moments of connection, we realize something profound. The world is both vast and intimate. The more we learn about others, the more we see ourselves reflected back. And as we weave these stories into our own lives, we create a beautiful mosaic, a testament to the strength of diversity and the power of unity. Number 3, compassion, the magnetic force of empathy. Close your eyes and think about a moment when someone showed you genuine kindness. It might have been a friend who stayed on the phone with you through a tough night, or perhaps a stranger who smiled at you just when you needed it most. That warmth, that connection, it's the essence of compassion. Compassion is more than just feeling sorry for someone. It's a bridge that connects our hearts, allowing us to see beyond our differences and recognize the shared humanity that binds us all. But here's the thing. In today's fast-paced world, we often overlook this simple yet profound virtue. Do you remember a time when you felt utterly alone, only to have someone step into your life and remind you that you mattered? Maybe it was a teacher who believed in you, a parent who reassured you, or even a pet who offered unconditional love. Those moments stick with us because they touch something deep within, a reminder that we are never truly alone. Compassion doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes it's as simple as truly listening, sitting with someone in their pain, and acknowledging their struggles without judgment. It's about being present, even when it's uncomfortable. This is where the magnetic pull of empathy lies, in the willingness to open ourselves up to others' experiences. But compassion also invites curiosity. Why does someone think the way they do? What struggles have shaped their worldview? These questions don't just help us understand others, they help us grow. By stepping into someone else's shoes, we expand our capacity for love, patience, and connection. Think about how powerful this can be in your own life. When we approach others with compassion, we create a space for vulnerability, a rare and beautiful thing in a world that often values strength over softness. And in that space, relationships flourish. Compassion draws people to us, not because we're perfect, but because we're willing to be human with them. The ripple effect of compassion is profound. When you show kindness, you inspire others to do the same. It's a chain reaction, spreading warmth and understanding in a world that desperately needs it. And while it may feel small in the moment, those acts of compassion build something far greater, a sense of belonging that transcends barriers, uniting us all in our shared humanity. Number 4, laughter and resilience, finding joy in the present moment. Can you remember the last time you laughed so hard that tears streamed down your face? Maybe it was during a family gathering, a spontaneous moment with friends, or even while watching your favorite comedy. Laughter has a way of seizing us, pulling us into the present, and temporarily freeing us from life's worries. It's raw, it's contagious, and it's one of the purest expressions of joy. As children, laughter came easily. A silly face or a playful joke could leave us in fits of giggles for hours. Those moments weren't just entertainment. They were reminders of how simple life's pleasures can be. Fast forward to adulthood, where responsibilities, deadlines, and challenges often weigh us down. We still laugh, but it's less frequent, buried under the seriousness of daily life. Yet deep down, we long for that same lightness, the ability to let go, even if just for a moment. Laughter is not only an escape, it's a form of resilience. Life, with all its unpredictability, can feel overwhelming. But when we find humor, even in tough situations, we gain a new perspective. It's not about dismissing challenges, but about lightening their emotional weight. Think about those times when a shared joke turned a tense meeting into a collaborative effort, or when laughing at your own mistakes made them seem less significant. What makes laughter even more powerful is its ability to connect us. Think of a moment when you laughed with a group of strangers, perhaps at a movie theater or during a shared experience. In those seconds, barriers dissolve. It doesn't matter where you come from or what your story is. Laughter reminds us of our shared humanity. This sense of shared joy sparks curiosity. Why do we laugh? What's behind those moments that make our sides ache and our hearts feel lighter? The truth is, laughter doesn't just transform moments. It transforms relationships. It fosters trust, deepens connections, and reminds us that amidst the chaos of life, there is always room for joy. Number 5. Stoic self-care, respecting the gift of life. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, when was the last time you truly prioritized your well-being? In a world that praises hustle and productivity, self-care often feels like an indulgence, a luxury for when we have extra time. But what if self-care is not just a choice, but a responsibility? As children, many of us were cared for by others. Parents or guardians ensured we ate, rested, and played. They taught us, directly or indirectly, that we were worth taking care of. Somewhere along the way, though, we started to shoulder responsibilities of our own, often at the expense of our well-being. Nostalgia for those carefree days might linger, but the truth is, self-care isn't about going back. It's about moving forward with intention. Self-care, in its truest form, is about respect for our bodies, our minds, and the life we've been given. It's not just about treating yourself to something nice. It's about creating a foundation of health, resilience, and balance. Think about the times when you felt your best, physically energized, mentally sharp, and emotionally stable. Those weren't just lucky moments. They were likely the result of choices you made to nurture yourself. Curiously, self-care isn't just about what we do for ourselves, but how it impacts others. When we care for ourselves, we're better equipped to care for those around us. A rested, nourished, and mentally strong person is more patient, more empathetic, and more present. This ripple effect is profound. It starts with you, but extends far beyond. So, what does self-care look like? It's different for everyone, but at its core, it's about aligning with what truly matters. For some, it's finding time for a daily walk or a moment of silence. For others, it's setting boundaries or pursuing a passion. Self-care isn't selfish. It's a way of saying, I respect myself enough to nurture what keeps me whole. Number 6. True independence, thriving on your own terms. There's a unique kind of freedom in realizing you don't need anyone else to define your happiness. But independence isn't about rejecting help or isolating yourself. It's about thriving on your own terms. Imagine a life where your decisions aren't swayed by external pressures, but are rooted in your values and desires. What would that look like for you? Think back to a time when you made a choice that was entirely your own, one that aligned perfectly with who you are. Maybe it was choosing a career path, moving to a new city, or even something as small as saying no when everyone else said yes. Those moments stick with us because they reflect our ability to stand firm in our identity. Nostalgia often pulls us back to childhood, where independence was a milestone we longed for. Remember the thrill of riding a bike without training wheels or staying home alone for the first time? Those were our first tastes of autonomy. Yet, as adults, true independence takes on a deeper meaning. It's not just about doing things alone. It's about thriving emotionally, mentally, and spiritually without relying on external validation. But independence invites curiosity too. How do we balance this with our need for connection? The answer lies in understanding that independence and community aren't opposites, they're complementary. True independence doesn't push people away, it allows us to engage with others from a place of strength. When we're secure in ourselves, we build healthier, more authentic relationships. Independence also challenges us to reflect on what we truly want. Are our goals our own, or are they shaped by societal expectations? This self-awareness is both liberating and grounding. It's about making choices that resonate with our values, even when they go against the grain. True independence is about owning your life, mistakes, triumphs and all, and finding joy in the freedom to be unapologetically you. Number 7. Balancing openness and mystery in relationships. Do you remember meeting someone who seemed to effortlessly captivate your attention? Maybe it was the way they spoke, open yet reserved, or the way their words hinted at deeper layers waiting to be uncovered. There's a certain allure in people who strike the perfect balance between openness and mystery. It draws us in, making us curious about what lies beneath the surface. As humans, we're wired for connection. From the moment we begin to form relationships, we seek understanding and intimacy. In childhood, our friendships are built on sharing, secrets, dreams, and stories. But as we grow older, the nature of sharing changes. We learn that not everything needs to be said all at once. We realize that the deepest connections often unfold slowly, revealing their depth over time. Think about your closest relationships. Chances are they weren't built in a single conversation, but developed over years of shared experiences, moments of vulnerability, and the occasional silence. Nostalgia reminds us of the power of these bonds, of how trust and discovery were integral to their growth. But here's the intriguing part. What makes someone truly memorable? Is it their ability to lay everything bare, or their knack for sharing just enough to spark curiosity? Striking the balance between openness and mystery isn't about withholding. It's about knowing what to share and when. It's about creating space for others to lean in and explore. This delicate dance invites us to reflect on our own approach to relationships. Are we open enough to connect, yet reserved enough to maintain our individuality? Balancing these aspects doesn't mean playing games. It means honoring both our inner world and our desire for meaningful connections. Number 8. Shared humanity. Recognizing our common bonds. Close your eyes and think about a moment when you felt deeply connected to someone. Maybe it was a shared laugh, a moment of empathy, or even an unspoken understanding. These instances remind us that despite our differences, we are united by our shared humanity. As children, we're often taught about what makes us unique. Whether it's our talents, preferences, or backgrounds, individuality is celebrated. But as we grow older, we begin to see the threads that tie us together. Nostalgia brings back memories of playground friendships, where language barriers, cultural differences, or even age didn't matter. What mattered was the joy of connection, of finding common ground. In today's world, it's easy to focus on what sets us apart. News headlines highlight divisions, and social media often amplifies disagreements. But beneath it all, we share universal experiences: love, loss, hope, and struggle. Think about the last time you saw someone's story from across the globe and felt a pang of recognition. That's the power of shared humanity. It's this recognition that sparks curiosity. What can we learn from each other? How can understanding someone else's perspective enrich our own lives? When we see ourselves in others, walls come down. Empathy grows, and so does the desire to build bridges. Recognizing our shared humanity isn't about erasing our differences. It's about celebrating them while acknowledging the common threads that unite us. It's about listening, learning, and engaging with the world in a way that fosters connection rather than division. Number 9. Self-discipline as the foundation of authentic living. Picture this. It's a quiet morning, and you've just completed a task you've been putting off for days. The satisfaction you feel isn't just about checking it off your list. It's about knowing you pushed past resistance and stayed true to your intentions. That sense of accomplishment. It's the quiet power of self-discipline at work. As children, discipline often came from external forces, parents, teachers, or rules. It wasn't always welcome, but it shaped us. Think back to those moments when hard work led to achievement, or when sticking to a routine helped you master a skill. Nostalgia reminds us that discipline, while challenging, has always been a stepping stone to growth. Now, as adults, the responsibility shifts. Self-discipline becomes internal. It's no longer about someone else holding us accountable, but about holding ourselves accountable to our values and goals. This transition can feel daunting but also empowering. It's a reminder that we are in control of our own lives. What's fascinating about self-discipline is how it underpins authenticity. When we align our actions with our values, we're living in a way that's true to who we are. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about choosing what's right over what's easy, even when no one is watching. Curiously, self-discipline isn't restrictive, it's liberating. It gives us the tools to create a life that reflects our deepest desires and aspirations. It allows us to say no to distractions and yes to what truly matters. And while the journey isn't always smooth, the rewards are undeniable. A life lived with intention, purpose, and authenticity. Number 10. Silent attraction. Letting actions speak louder than words. Imagine walking into a room where someone immediately stands out, not because they're the loudest or flashiest, but because there's something compelling about their presence. Maybe it's their quiet confidence or the way they carry themselves, subtly commanding attention without seeking it. It's a magnetic quality, one that doesn't require words but leaves an impression that lingers. From childhood, we're often taught the importance of speaking up, using our words to express ourselves, assert our needs, and connect with others. Words are powerful, no doubt, but nostalgia reminds us of those rare moments when words weren't necessary. Think back to the comforting presence of a parent sitting beside you during a tough time, or the quiet smile of a friend that said everything. These silent moments often hold more meaning than 1,000 words ever could. In a world that often celebrates noise and bold declarations, silent attraction stands apart. It's the quiet strength of character, the integrity of actions matching words, and the ability to listen deeply. Silent attraction doesn't seek to impress, it seeks to connect. It's the person who holds the door open for a stranger, offers a kind gesture without fanfare, or simply listens without interrupting. This concept sparks curiosity. What is it about actions that resonate so deeply? Perhaps it's because they reveal our true selves in a way words cannot. Words can be rehearsed or insincere, but actions have a purity about them. They reflect our values, intentions, and the depth of our character. Silent attraction invites us to reflect on our own lives. Are our actions aligned with who we truly want to be? Are we showing up for others in meaningful ways, not for recognition, but because it's the right thing to do? It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful way to communicate isn't through what we say, but through what we do. And here's the beauty of it. Silent attraction isn't something you can fake. It's cultivated over time through authenticity, mindfulness, and a commitment to living in accordance with your values. When we focus on being rather than appearing, we create a presence that draws others to us, not because we demand their attention, but because they're genuinely intrigued by who we are. Silent attraction isn't about being quiet. It's about letting the substance of your character speak louder than anything you could say. It's the kind of impression that doesn't fade, leaving people curious to know more about the person behind the actions. Mastering the art of silent attraction is not just about refining how others see you, it's about transforming how you see yourself. By letting your actions speak louder than your words, you unlock a magnetism that is both authentic and timeless. This approach isn't about playing games or trying to impress. It's about aligning your values, actions, and presence in a way that naturally draws others to you. The world doesn't need more noise, it needs more depth, and you have the power to embody that. Drop a in the comments if you've made it this far, because that means you're part of the 0.01% who commit to growth and finish what they start. If you're serious about making lasting changes in your life, join our journey by subscribing to the channel. Together, we'll uncover the timeless principles that lead to a life of meaning, purpose, and connection.